Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessart, Barisha. It's Connor Kane on the left. Alessandro Diamante, the ball on a string. And Diamante! The Western service crew are celebrating.
Welcome back to All Out West, and it's been another huge week with Western United silencing City. In other major news, Wallace misses his first ever pod due to the impending second child with him and his partner Amelia. This means somehow I've been left running the episode. How's the week been, lads?
Yeah, not too bad, fella. And yeah, quick shout out. Congrats to Wallace on your little healthy baby girl. Glad to see it.
Yeah, the second best bit of news coming from this weekend other than our 1-0 win.
It was a good win. It does very well. I know he was happy because when his first child was born, Essendon lost. At least with this one, there was a W.
Yeah.
Good omen for the child.
Yeah. So should we get into it?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
All right. We'll get straight into the club update. And not much to really report. Seb Pasquale remains on the long-term injury list, and Rene Krhin is still unavailable due to fitness. When do you guys reckon we might see him on the pitch?
Jeez, I was kind of hoping already.
Yeah, it's hard to tell now. It is hard to tell. So could be a couple of weeks, could be a month, could be 2. We don't actually know, but we don't want to be bringing in a player from overseas and have him taking up a wage bill and sitting on the sidelines like Daniel Sturridge will be for most of the season. So,
well, I think they knew that before he signed, given his injury record.
Yeah, I don't know about Rennie's injury record, but I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with the D Studges. So,
yeah, let's just say he's lucky he's not in America trying to pay for healthcare.
I think maybe that's why he came down here.
I suspect so.
Yeah.
Got to get on that free healthcare.
Yeah. Or he could have gone to Canada too, play for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, and he could have had free weed on tap. It's legal.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into the exciting news. Let's get it straight into the game review. Let's hit it running. All right, so on Saturday night, 7:45, Western United took on the reigning premiers, Melbourne City, at Eden Park in front of 7,019 fans. Before we get right into it, how are the pre-match vibes?
Look, pretty good, I'd say. Fair few of us marched down to originally what was going to be the corner. But I think because we came in a big group and COVID has hit, they weren't used to us rocking up like that. So we were denied entry. So we went to a different pub. What pub did we end up at?
The Richmond Club.
Richmond Club, yeah, which was really nice. They were really good. Good food, good people. So Ryan Pappenhausen was there. A few Melbourne Storm. Yeah, a few people got some photos, so they were happy. A few of them were watching us chant and having a bit of fun. So vibes were good up until, there was a little bit of a scuffle near the stadium.
Yeah, I heard about that. But also, just before that, he did some Penrith chants just to help the Storm boys get a bit lived up.
Yeah, there were a couple flying around. So, yeah, it was all good banter, good fun, good day.
Yes, because I hear a couple of people might have been denied entry due to alcohol beforehand.
I think there was a bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, between the staff and the people denied entry because they sneaky went around to the other side and got in without any problems.
Yep.
But I think there was probably just a bit of excitement with all our supporters coming in G'd up before the game, and maybe the security there weren't too keen on some of the people that were a bit overexcited. But that was all sorted out in the end. So,
look, I just marked that down as 1-0 Western Service Crew. Eden Park Stadium, nothing.
Yeah, well, not to mention, I think we went 2-0 up against the City Terrace, mate. They were very, very quiet. I definitely saw a few social media posts actually praising our active support on a few of the Football Australia groups, and Western United don't get much love on those. We usually get ripped into, but we were on the receiving end of some actual praise for once this week, which is interesting.
You could say that there were a lot more empty seats at the end of the game than there were empty seats at the start of the game, even though there were plenty at that point too.
I thought their fans were loyal. I thought they stayed right through to the end.
Yeah.
Wait, when you're supposed to be champions of Australia, behold your champions pulling up a banner and then half of you are leaving before full time. I mean, geez, it wasn't exactly a great sight to behold. It's honestly disappointing.
Disappointing for the league, if anything. Look, for us, we had a good time and we had fun and we can have some banter out of it, but that's not what you want to be seeing from fans of the club. Leaving it. It's not like they, and look, still shouldn't be doing this, but it's not like they were down 4-5-0 either. But they had fans leaving 10 minutes and even earlier than the end of the game.
Put it into perspective, a lot of the victory
stuck right to the end.
Victory active support stuck through to the end, and they were getting absolutely demolished in the end, 3-0, a couple of cracking goals to Perth. And
they were singing right to the end, so kudos to them. There was none of that from City. None of that.
And, they went 1-0 down, or a man down, a goal down, and didn't stop chanting. And you look at the other active end, and it's like they just looked dejected.
And they were being outplayed much more than City were being outplayed by us too.
Yeah, like you'd think that they've never heard of like a last-minute equaliser or something.
Obviously, they haven't.
Fickle people. All right, let's get into the actual action, though. So there was one change to the starting lineup with Dylan Wenzel-Halls returning to 11 in place of Prijovic, who was laid out with fitness concerns. Western United started the game with a positive mindset and really took it to City early. And it really paid off when we got a goal at the 20-minute mark with a brilliant assist by Diamante to our number 9, Dylan Wenzel-Halls. You guys want to break down this goal and talk about how sweet that finish was past Glover?
Yeah, looking at it at the time, I knew it was a good finish, but watching the replays, I actually realised how good of a finish it was. It wasn't just the actual shot. It was the movement, the way that he held it up and kind of faked out the defender as well. So, look, beautiful finish. And as far as I can remember, I don't think any of our players have celebrated with the fans that hard after a goal at least.
No, he really got involved.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see, especially for a derby. All the fans loved it. We loved it. The players loved it. The fans that weren't in the service crew that saw him do that, it pumped them up even more as well. So that's the sort of thing that we want to be seeing. We want to be seeing that passion and that connection between the players and the fans, which our club already does a lot better than a lot of other clubs do.
I did notice that when he scored the goal, he ran right up to us. He was about 5 metres away when he stopped running. And then I think it was Payne Wales and Josh Risdon come flying in and pretty much grabbed him and threw him into the active support. And
it was a collective effort.
Yeah, I saw Lockie Wales jump over the top and almost end up in the crowd, and crowd end up on the field and vice versa. Yeah, so that was good fun to finally be able to celebrate the boys. I suppose COVID played a part in that, not being able to have the fans interact with the players as much, but yeah, it was definitely fantastic to see Wenzel-Halls score a goal in front of the active and celebrate towards us like that.
It's one of the most beautiful things in football to see something like that.
It is. Do you know what I enjoyed from the television broadcast aspect? Watching security not knowing what to do. Like,
no clue.
What do we do? They were panicked. They had no clue what to do. They're like, do we touch them? Oh, wait, that's COVID, not COVID safe. They had no idea what to do.
Look, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody got crook after the game, and everything ended up fine. No injuries, no sickness. So
we're all vaccinated,
except for one.
We're all vaccinated anyway, so should be fine.
Yeah. Look, it was good to see the passion back in the game.
Oh yeah,
it's exactly what you want.
Back to the actual goal itself, though. Take nothing away from the finish and the run. Like, I thought for sure he was going to hold it up and pass, and I was thinking, just have a go, lad. There's no one coming with you. And then he sort of, did the little sidestep shuffle and just bent it in. That was perfect. But like the Diamante ball as well phenomenal. First time, just sort of like Gerrard-esque, hooked over, perfect weight on it for him to run onto and be able to take a touch. Honestly, there's not much you can do as a keeper to stop that. When you're struggling to match the pace of Wenzel Halls, there's really not much you can do to catch up to him as a defender.
No, and that's the thing. It was finally the right kind of ball for Dylan Wenzel Halls. Instead of an aerial ball into the box, it was one at his feet he could run onto.
Yeah, I did notice throughout the course of the game we were putting a lot of those balls into the box a lot lower and making it a lot dirtier. I think we almost had that second goal, even though it was disallowed, contentious, I think. But
could have gone either way.
That was very similar to our goal against Perth, in my opinion. Just a low cross, very dirty. The finish a bit better and from a bit further out this time, but. Even though it was disallowed, I think those are the sorts of balls that we're looking at when it comes to scoring goals with our smaller, faster players. I think that's the key to victory right there.
Yeah, it's definitely the method when we've got those faster, fleet of foot players on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%.
So from my perspective, it felt very much like a snatch and grab match. Like, as soon as we sort of scored, we sort of sat back and invited the pressure and allowed Melbourne City, they ended up with 65% possession, 21 shots, but only 5 on target. However, due to our very organised defence led by Lacroix, and Amai, who incidentally bounced back after last week getting subbed at half-time, and Aloisi was quite complimentary of him. We seemed to have a lot of control, even though they had the ball. How did it feel like to you guys?
Look, with Tomoki, actually, I feel like this might have been a slightly weaker game of his, even though we did get the clean sheet. I found he was a little bit panicky coming up against the speedy wingers of Melbourne City. Look, at the end of the day, the product wasn't there from them and they didn't score and he kept his clean sheet. But this is one of the games where I think he has had more solid games in the past. And I feel like, Leo really, really marshalled it this week.
I think the big takeaway is, obviously Leo's probably the best defender, definitely the best defender at Western United, definitely staking his claim on being the Virgil of the league, like a big, fast, tall, strong,
handsome
Swiss centre-back. Even though, I don't think Tomoki got any points from us this week, but he definitely sort of corralled and pushed off players like Naboo and Lecky to the side. Like you notice they never got a real clean run inside the box, or if they did, it was very minimal.
They weren't able to cut in like they usually are.
Yeah, usually that's your problem when you've got Naboo, especially doing his classic outside of the boot shot. I think he attempted one of those, but was rushed very quickly by I think it was Tomoki, put him right off and ended up hitting it straight at the keeper. So take nothing away from Tomoki. I think I'm a bit more optimistic than Caleb. I think Tomoki had one of his better games. I think he was near perfect. But Leo was definitely the star on the pitch for us this week when it comes to the back four.
Yeah, I think he's actually taking a claim for signing of the season so far.
100%. Not just for what he brings as a player, but for what I believe he brings as a leader at the back. It seems like it's night and day between how well we've been drilled. I mean, I think it was 22 goals in 6 games versus 1 goal in 3.
Yeah, and it was just a momentary lapse at 1 goal.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, other than that, we know Jamie Young made a few crucial and brilliant saves, but best front 3 in the league were almost completely shut down. I couldn't be, obviously, maybe a few less shots on target, and obviously you don't want Young to be making those saves every week because he can't. No one can. It's just not possible. They're going to creep in it at some point. But if we can maybe keep those shots on target right down, or at least improve on that, I think we could grind out a few like 1-0 wins and really, really push up the table this season. It might be a Liverpool-esque almost bunch of results we need. Like
Leicester-esque, I'd say.
Well, when Liverpool won the title, remember, I think we got 20 odd points or something from 1-0 victories.
Yeah.
So if we can keep picking those up and keeping those clean sheets, then I don't think there's anything stopping us from honestly shooting for the stars and going for a top 2 spot.
That's what is the difference between good teams and a championship team. The able to grind out those results, like the ability to grind out those results when you probably really shouldn't.
I actually, when we went 1-0 up, and when we were 1-0 up at halftime, I was confident we would come away with at least a point. Confident.
Yeah.
And against City, that's a bold statement, I believe, but I thought for sure we'd have a point. After about the 75th minute, I was pretty much convinced that the 3 were locked in. I was very, very happy with that defensive showing this week. And I think most fans, if not all, West United fans would be. And I also think...
City fans too.
Yeah, you wouldn't... Well, no, if you City, you wouldn't be happy with that. But I honestly think it's a product of Aloisi coming in as coach and bringing in that back 4 formation.
He's really helped to shore up that defence. You sort of touched on it. I just wanted to go over it. What did you think of Jamie Young's performance now that he's had a couple of games into the season?
I mean, obviously we love Scotty. We're going to say it every episode, but with performances like that, it's hard to drop. It's hard to drop Jamie Young. So a bit of a scoop I've got. This does drop before the game against Wellington, but I can 100% confirm that Ryan Scott will be starting in goals.
Oh, you're kind of spoiling something there. Let's pause that for a
jump
bit.
on the gun, buddy.
Sorry, that's.
But that was already very widely speculated, and I think it was safe to assume that.
Well, from the horse's mouth, I heard it on Saturday. Ryan Scott's going to be starting in goals, so he does have a chance to maybe not take the spot, but definitely
keep himself in contention.
And keep the pressure on Jamie Young, because I think there's nothing better than cycling through 2 keepers that are at the top of their game and making each other better.
Exactly, but we'll get into the Ryan Scott thing when we do the Wellington preview, which I'm actually excited for because I think we all had a bit of speculation on that.
Yeah. Look, before we jump to the next thing, I won't be long, but I'll just say one last thing about the City thing. Jay did mention that in future games we don't want to have Jamie Young saving those sorts of shots every single game and not have as many shots on target against us. At the end of the day, most of us went in probably if we got offered a draw, we would have snatched somebody's hand off for it. So I don't think we can be too critical of the performance in the team when you are playing against the champions.
Yeah, I personally think if going into it, if we had only conceded 1 to 2 goals, we would have taken it with how lethal their strike force is. The fact we walked away with a clean sheet's just phenomenal and looked well in control.
Yeah.
I mean, another quick thing. I mean, it's also disappointing as a Socceroos fan seeing your front 3 Socceroos not scoring against your own team that, people rip on. It's like, geez, we're going to have a bit of trouble in the upcoming World Cup. Maybe we might have to start thinking about chucking Lockie Wales, Dylan Parias, and Dylan Wenzel-Halls up front.
I'm for that. Just let them cause havoc with all the defenders by just running them around in circles.
Yeah. But you even saw our fans as the banter happens at the start. They're announcing their players. We're booing for them all. J-Mac comes on. Oh, J-Mac's name comes up. No one boos. Lecky's name comes up. No one boos. We do like those guys. They're Lecky especially, but even Jamie McLaren is getting to that point. Lecky's someone who's been legendary not legendary, but really, really good for the Socceroos for a decade now. So he's someone we'll always respect too.
Unfortunately, they found him on Saturday night in Ben Garuccio's back pocket.
So they did find him. There has been confirmation he has been found.
They have found him. The Brew went missing as well, and he was found in Risdon's back.
Yeah, just in time for the Perth Glory game midweek that they have.
They're going to need him. All right, so interestingly for the match, we only made two of the substitutions with Dylan Parias coming on for Dylan Wenzel-Halls in the 73rd and Bayou coming on for Connor Penn in the 78th. It was interesting to see Bayu gets in minutes is Aloisi had been quite critical of him having to go to Ollie Roos as he thought it stunted his development and held him back a bit as opposed to the development gains he'd made at the club. What did you guys think of the substitutions? And are you happy to see that Bayu is very much in the plans of Aloisi?
Yeah, I think it was very surprising seeing Bayu subbed on for in a slightly more defensive role. From what I've seen, he's a better offensive player.
Yeah, that's what I had the impression of anyway.
For Connor Payne. But I think it's good to give Payne the rest as well. He's worked very hard the last 3 weeks, so bringing him off is a good call. Bringing off Wenzel Halls is a good call because I think maybe fitness-wise he was losing pace later on in the game. And you got that pace on the bench in Parias. He's going to be fresh for the remainder of the game when he comes
Just a quick thing on Wenzel Halls. He doesn't – great player, great bursts of energy, but I don't see him as a 90-minute player. I see him as either coming off the bench or as a 70, 80-minute player.
Honestly, same as Parias.
We've
had this conversation about Parias. I see those two as very similar. Obviously, Wenzel Halls with a bit more of that attacking side behind him. Parias being a bit more of a
speedier too, I'd say.
Probably a touch speedier. Parias, of course, being I think a touch younger. Or they're about the same age, though, aren't they?
No, Parias is younger.
Yeah, I think it's about 2-3 years.
Yeah, 2 years, I'd say.
Still very impressed with Wenzel Halls, and I think if he gets a lot of 70, 80-minute runs, I think he will definitely improve. And he's definitely a player I think would be a good player to bring on at any time and replace Prijevic.
He's quickly becoming a fan favourite, and if he keeps going the way he can go, if he keeps going the way that he's going, I wouldn't say the sky's the limit for him, but he can go really far in the game and not just in Australia.
I wanted 10 goals from him this season, and he's already scored 2 and got a 6 points. So honestly, I'm happy with that. 6 points from Dylan Wenzel Halls is a very good start.
Yeah, well, so obviously the game ends 1-0 and we secure our second win against City. So just touching on Dylan Wenzel Halls, Jamie Young, Lacroix, how would you rate our signings thus far and that Aloisi's made to the club? Like, it's early days, but they're doing a phenomenal job. Like, they've clearly added to the squad.
Even Ben Garuccio, he doesn't get much love, but he's been pretty much flawless up back. I mean, we didn't see I know Scott Jamison loves to have a bit of a run. We barely really saw him get up. Obviously, Garuccio knows that City squad inside out, so he's.
Well, he would have been actually going against Galloway, and Galloway likes getting up too.
Both fullbacks like getting up.
Yeah.
But Garuccio, very, very impressive. Jamie Young obviously had a rough couple of weeks, but he's come good. Keep an eye on him. Leo, unbelievable. We know how he's going. Neil Kilkenny, close to the top. If not, I think he's top of the. I think he's top of our vote so far.
Yeah, it might change this week, but we'll see. We'll see.
Small
not bad for a Perth Glory reject.
Small disclaimer: we won't have the actual voting tally up today due to I don't have the technology Wallace has.
That's all right. You can read it out though.
I actually don't know who's in the lead.
Oh, all right. We'll just do the votes in next week.
I won't have the tally board, but we will reveal who's in the lead next week.
Yeah, all right. We'll do that.
Didn't have the goal clip. I'm like, I don't have the technology.
That's all right. That's all right. We can sort this stuff out. Still teething issues.
Yeah. So it's just a 1 week little thing here. But yeah, going back as you were, Jay, sorry.
Yeah, and to mention we haven't even seen Rene Krhin, which is probably, I'd say Leo's hard to knock off, but I was most excited for Rene Krhin as our international signing this season. We haven't even seen him yet, so it'd be interesting to see what he can bring to the club. And it's also interesting to see that there's 1 or 2 players that have been rejuvenated. Stephen Lustig has been playing quite well. We were all very critical of him. Obviously, as football fans, we're fickle and we forget what he'd done for us towards the end of our first season. And I think he's about 80% of the way back to that sort of form. I definitely see him snatching a goal and
a few assists.
This season. Diamante obviously struggled in the tail end of last season. Beautiful assist. He's back. Josh Risdon, feels like we've signed a new player in Josh Risdon, having him back. It's night and day, the squad we had from final round last year to round 3 this year. But it still feels like Western United. It feels like the team's gelling very quickly. Obviously, a few teething issues in the first couple of rounds, but I feel like they're getting stronger by the minute here. So honestly, bring on Wellington. Let's see how we go against a subpar opponent at the moment.
But a subpar opponent that's been in decent form at the same time.
Yeah.
They lost their last game, but they've still looked decent all season.
And they love playing against us, so always dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get it. Speaking of that, we'll segue into the player of the year now. I'll read out Wallace and Scott's first, and then we'll go over our ones.
Yep.
Right, so Scott gave 1 vote to Jamie Young, which is a shock. So Jamie Young must have really impressed Scott to get that 1 vote. Just going to put that out there.
I'm in exactly the same boat with that one. So quick spoiler for mine, but I'm in exactly the same boat.
Leo Lacroix 2, and he gave Dylan Wenzel-Halls the 3. Wallace gave Dylan Wenzel-Halls the 1, Lacroix the 2, and Jamie Young the 3. So the same votes, just different orders. We'll start with you, Jay.
So I gave Diamante 1 vote, mainly because dangerous player, looked like he was playing quite well the whole game. Obviously, that gem of an assist. 2 votes to Dylan Wenzel-Halls purely because he was on the end of that assist, ran with the ball really well, and ultimately got us the win. And 3 votes to Jamie Young because I think he made some extremely crucial saves that helped secure the points almost as much as that goal did. Probably best on ground, Jamie Young. It's hard to say. I wanted to give Leo votes as well, but I felt like even though Leo might have played a better game than 2 of those 3 players, I feel like crucial to the 3 points. The 3 players I listed were the most crucial to those points. Of the 3 points that we picked up off Sydney. So that's why those are my votes this week. I'm glad that Jamie Young's up there because he really needed it.
Yeah. Well, who did you have, Len?
Well, look, on the back of what Jay said, there were a few players who couldn't make it into mine, but I still wanted to give them points. The 2 players I left out were Leo and Dia. So for 1 point, I had Jamie Young. You can't go past the saves that he made. Absolutely incredible. A couple of times he looked a little bit worried, but he ended up pulling it off. So his saves were phenomenal. A couple of them right place, right time, but you've still got to have the reflexes to get it out into the right area and not just get it straight back to an attacker that will just slot it straight back in. My 2 votes actually is a bit different to everyone. It goes to Connor Payne. I feel like he just completely nullified City's right side. Even though he wasn't playing in the left-back position, and we did mention Garuccio before, I feel like Garuccio had a lot of support from Connor Payne. And just the way that his pressing was, his intensity was, and I think that's the reason why he got taken off, because he was working that hard. It completely nullified City's right side. And then the 3 go to Dylan Wenzel-Halls. I think his pressing from the front was integral to our whole defensive structure. He scores the winning goal and he celebrates like that with the fans. You can't go past that for 3 votes.
Yeah. Well, look, so mine are very much in the same vein as everyone else's. So I gave 1 to Dimmer. I thought it was probably his best game he's had for a while now, especially given the back half of last season. He was lively. He was trying to create chances. Really, most of our chances came through something he was doing in midfield, including the assist that Dylan Wenzel-Halls got. I gave 2 to Jamie Young just because on the rare chances when City did manage to breach our defence, he was there, he was switched on, he was ready to stop anything that come into the net. And then I gave the 3 to Lacroix just for the way he marshalled the defence. I do want to give an honourable mention to Dylan Wenzel-Halls. I swear it's got nothing to do with my hatred of hyphenated surnames. I just couldn't fit 4 into 3.
Yeah, honestly, this one was the hardest.
The hardest one this round.
On any other
Obviously.
week, you could have given a single vote to Lustig, Garuccio. I could have given 1 to Payne. Kilkenny, he's been crucial the last 2 weeks, and honestly didn't have a bad game.
Even Lockie Wales.
Lockie Wales, they both dribbled well and passed well and were being real pests. and they couldn't even get in the votes for us this week. It's honestly what we want to do. We want to we want the votes to be as hard as possible for us, and they really did that for us this week.
Because we haven't really had to think too much the past 2 weeks, I'd say. Even after a win last week, we haven't had to think too much. This week, I had to think quite hard.
Yeah. And really, for most of the last 2 weeks, we've sort of all had the same, maybe a different order, but they've all been the same, roughly 4 players. This week, it was just hard.
Yeah.
So if you're as passionate about Western United as we are, you won't want to miss any of the Sports A-League action. And the easiest and quickest and best way to catch every game from every angle is with A-League Live app. Search for A-League Live or Sportsmate in the app or Google Play stores. They're really great. And once again, they helped us out with statistics for this game.
Yeah, they can turn anyone into a stat wizard.
They can.
And not just that, they're timely and up to date, unlike a lot of other apps out there.
Yeah, well, they got me the crowd numbers because no one else really publishes the crowd numbers, and I was able to get it real quick from them.
Yep. Yeah, really good app. Recommend everyone tries it out.
Yeah, so now we move on to a big week. We got 2 games to preview. Let's start with the first one. It's the only true rival that Wellington have. I mean, there's the distance derby, but that's not a real rivalry. It's just, hey, we live far away.
I'll give it to them.
They got to have hope. But now they've got a real rival. They've got us. So on Tuesday...
It's a one-way rivalry. We don't really care. It's nice to let them have something, you know, but honestly, we don't really care. They'd be nothing without the A-League.
Well, exactly. Look, they need us more than we need them.
Yeah, I'm taking the piss. We do love Wellington.
Yeah,
we do.
Second side.
Best away trip in the A-League, that's for sure.
One I definitely want to attend. So on Tuesday night, so tomorrow, and probably may even be in the past by the time this gets released, we take on Wellington Phoenix at 7:30 at GMHBA Stadium in the FFA Cup, and what will be our second ever FFA Cup clash. In the previous round, we beat the Jets because we had to qualify, and obviously this will be Wellington's first game in the Cup this season. Wellington are coming off a 2-0 loss to Western Sydney Wanderers, whilst we're coming off the big win versus City. How do you think we're going to line up this week?
A few changes.
Yeah, it's hard to say what changes, but there's going to be a few changes for the FFA Cup. We spoiled one already.
Sorry about that. We already touched on one. Scott beating goals. I see maybe
Topple Stanley starting for this one, I would say. I'd say somebody like him, maybe even giving Josh Risdon a rest because of his injury issues last season, playing Dylan Parias at the back. If Prijovic has recovered from his niggle, he might replace Dylan Wenzel-Halls up front. The beauty is this season we've got a lot of options, and we could even have a couple of younger players come into the midfield to give those midfield players a rest, like players like Jerry Skotadis and Milo as well, potentially as well.
Theo gets a run this week. He's been touted quite highly by...
Birthday boy this week too.
Yep, but was it yesterday or today?
Today, actually. Happy birthday, Theo. At time of recording.
He's been touted quite highly. I think Aloisi thinks quite highly of him. I'm yet to see it, but I think a cup game is a good chance for him to get a 60, 70-minute run in. I see him starting along with a few of our other, probably a good 70-30 mix, 70% of the regulars, 30% of new blood.
But the rotated regulars too.
Rotated regulars, yeah. So, and then it still wouldn't surprise me if you see players like Risdon or Payne come on at some point. Topple have a break, and we utilise all of our subs this week.
One thing I would like to say, I'd really like to see Noah Bodic as a substitute appearance this week. I'm not sure that he'll get the 90 minutes or even get the chance to start, but as a substitute, I think this would be his perfect time to, get a little bit of first team game time, because as far as I know, he hasn't really been in that first team setup. He's played in good youth setups, but this would be his, even though it's a cup game, it would really be his first taste of first team football.
Yeah. And
I'd like to see what he brings.
Yeah, hopefully we see Rene Crin as well.
Don't think so.
Don't think that's going to happen, but I'm always going to be hopeful.
Yeah, I'd like an update on how he's tracking. think it's just might be just general fitness and just getting up to speed with quarantine and things, but it's just a bit odd.
I'm not sure if he played any preseason games, but
no, he didn't.
Prijovic, I don't know, maybe Prijovic had a better run at things before, because I remember Prijovic came in actually after.
He came in from the Saudi League, though, so I think he was still playing right up until the end of last season, whereas I don't think Renekrin was playing as much.
No, I think because he was in a lower league, I think he might have been impacted by the COVID restrictions.
League might have been cancelled, all that sort of thing. Whereas Prijovic was making top money in the Saudi League.
Yeah. So, good question. Here's a question for you: will the Western Service crew ride if Ryan Scott doesn't play the full game?
Oh, if he's starting, he'll play the full game. That's just unless he gets injured. If he gets injured, we'll be clapping and cheering him off. But if he gets subbed at 45 for some reason, the only way I'd be okay with that is that if they bring on Charlie Emery for a bit of experience. That's the only way I'd be content with that. Other than that, if he's starting, he'll play the full game.
I think it's going to be storm the pitch scenario if Scotty's not starting.
It will be right on our Scotty's Aloisi out train if that happens.
Look, I expect there to be a ride if for some reason Ryan Scott got red carded. I expect him to be able to just shoot players on the pitch and be allowed to get away with it tomorrow.
Or if it's red card, we'll love it. Like, he probably won't be playing the next few games anyway. Jamie Young will stay in the team for the A-League, so the ban won't matter. That gives us a few weeks of not having to talk about who should be playing and who isn't, and we'd all have a grouse time, and we'd probably see him at the pub afterwards.
Big question, though. Who would you rather in a penalty shootout?
I don't know, because I'm actually not too aware of their penalty saving statistics.
From what I've seen, Jamie Young has stopped a couple.
Yeah, so I probably would go him. He's got the experience in a penalty shootout.
But
look, that is something I forgot. That is something I did forget about.
That is also because honestly, it's rough when you bring on a penalty specialist keeper for the other keeper. They don't like it. They want to be.
It psychs them out.
Yeah, it's really. I don't think it's good either way. It can work, but I think we should be our keeper. If hypothetically, if we go into penalties, I want to be seeing our starting keeper take a crack at saving those penalties.
Okay.
I agree too. Look, you might go for a specialist in maybe a real say the final, perhaps if he's a real dedicated penalty specialist. I wouldn't be doing it for the round of 32. You back him in and you get him that experience that they may not have as a junior, as the second keeper.
Look, I think if you do it, this early, a final is a bit different, I would say, even a semi-final, but it would be a bit of a kick in the nuts, I'd say.
Yeah, I wouldn't be subbing him. I'd be getting him the experience, win or lose.
Yeah, this early on in the competition too.
Yeah, it's a confidence boost. Lose, it's a learning experience that they grow from. There's no negative in it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, as much as I'd like to see us progress a fair way through the FFA Cup, I'm not super fussed. If we get knocked out, I think the league and at least trying to make that semi-final to A-League Grand Final should be our number one priority, and always should be a number one priority. Maybe you sacrifice a couple of league games if you're getting to the semi-final or the FFA Cup final.
As I was just going to say, I think that I would be more disappointed if we got to the semi-final or the final and lost that than if we do lose tomorrow or today at time of listening.
Honestly, the League Cup is like you care more and more the further you make it through. You bomb out, with 4 rounds to go, and you're like, it was a good run, but let's focus on the league. And then you make it to the final, and you're like, all of a sudden, it's like, we're going to win the FA Cup. That's when you start. It's like you didn't care about it 3 weeks ago, but you do now. So,
but that's all fans of all teams. Yeah. All teams cop it when they make.
As soon as you get to Wembley, even the semi-finals, you want to win from that point on. Like using the FA Cup because you're in the big stage.
Yeah,
getting that chance to shine. But so what are the score predictions?
It is a really hard one. Look, I haven't even thought of it.
I'd go Western United 2-0. A repeat of Wellington's game on the weekend. They had Hennon score against them, which is an absolute spew. If you're a Wellington fan, you would have hated that, seeing your old striker score against you.
Too bad we don't have any old Wellington players anymore.
No, they've all snaked on us as well.
Yeah.
So, serves us right. I think 2-0. One like early second half, one like 75th minute. 2 goals.
Yeah, look, I'll actually go with a 3-0. Yeah, I think I'll go with 3-0. I can't tell you who will score and when we'll score, but now that I think about it, I've got a good feeling.
Yeah, I don't see us conceding bar from a colossal cock up from one player. I think we'll keep our shape pretty well.
Or a dodgy set piece.
Yeah, I think Wellington are still subpar. They're going to have to do a lot of travelling. They don't really have a home ground, and I really feel for them. I think their performances are going to skyrocket once they're able to travel back to New Zealand in the second half of the season. But, professional footballers in the COVID era, that's what they got to deal with. But I think we should get the job done over them.
Yeah, I think it'll be either 1-0 or I actually think it might even go to extra time. I won't be shocked if it does. And we get the 1-0 or 2-0 in the extra time, like we score 1 or 2 in.
Yeah, look, I don't think I'll be surprised at any result, win, lose, or draw, unless it's a complete blowout, 5-0, that sort of thing.
And honestly, either way.
Either way. Yeah.
I don't think we'll win 5-0.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll win 5-0 either.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I see it doesn't go to penalties because I got work pretty early on Wednesday.
Oh, look, I've got the day off, so I'm okay.
Yeah, I see no more than a 2-1 at most.
Okay, yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, so we'll head on to the next game. So, what will be our second game this week? We take Brisbane Roar on Saturday, 11 December at GMHBA Stadium as well. In what will be our Dylan Wenzel Halls and Young's first game versus their old club. Now, Brisbane haven't had the best start. They're currently sitting dead last in the table with 1 draw from 3 games. Quick yes or no. Do you think our number 9 will make it 3-3? And will our number 1 make it 3 clean sheets in a row?
Yes and yes.
Yes and no.
Ooh.
Actually, now that I think about it, it's probably yes and no as well. But I don't think I think Brisbane have been playing some okay footy bar last week. They were a bit average. Unlucky to get a couple more points. I think they're a team you got to keep an eye on. But if we stick to our guns and played like we did last week, shouldn't have a problem shutting down a 1 or a 2-0 win at the very minimum. And I think we should be really shooting for at least a 2-goal win.
I think we should really be shooting for at least a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Again.
So 2-0, 2-goal win, I think. I'd be happy with that. Slowly start pushing that goal difference up for when it matters later on in the season. At the moment, I'm not fussed.
It's very close at the moment still.
Yeah. Shout out to Perth for bringing us dead even with victory. They were up 4 on the goal difference. Now they're back to 1 and tied on points with us. So I want to get ahead of them and not leave it in victory's hands as well. So and even maybe get the chance to get ahead of MacArthur and finish the round top of the table.
Which would be massive because we never have we? We've never finished we've hit the top during a round, but we've never finished the round on top, which is a mini milestone within itself.
I think the last time we were on top of the table would have been our first ever game. Was that?
Well, we were first.
Yeah.
No, we weren't at that point because we played on the Sunday. I think it was after. I think you know how we won 3 out of 5 and drew 1 or something. I think it was after we played that 5th game or so. Yeah. It was 10 from 5 or something. Yeah, 10 from 5.
Yeah. So, do you reckon we'll go unchanged going into this week? Based on the City game, not the FFA Cup game, obviously.
Based on the City game, I think it'll be really close. I think it'll be very, very similar.
Maybe Previc starts.
No, I don't think so. I think Dylan Wenzel-Halls has earned his starting spot at least, but if Previc is fit, he may come on for longer. Dylan may get less minutes.
Yeah. Could be a
but I think Johnny will hold the faith with him for the Brisbane game at least. He might drop him midweek.
Who knows? ¿Por qué no las dos? We could drop Lockie Wales and start Prijovic.
Play a top two up top.
Play a top two, yeah. I don't see why it couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Although Wales, I feel, would be a bit hard done by.
Yeah.
But also,
I feel like it's up in the air for change, but if there is changes, I feel like it's going to be one or two from the City game. It's going to be minimal.
I don't think squad rotation, except for maybe us. I'd like to just keep Leo in if he can be a constant the whole season. No problem. Other than that, I've got no problem swapping out the rest of the back, like the rest of the squad. Maybe I'd like to keep Risdon and
keep Leo, keep Risdon, keep Dia. Try and get them playing as many games as possible, and the rest for rotation would be very, very adequate.
Just quickly on Dia, I think he gets rested one of the 2 games, probably the FA Cup.
Probably tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. Or maybe he features 20 minutes or so.
Yep. And then comes off early on the weekend or something. Yeah. At this point, he probably wants to play as many more games as he can in the rest of his career. So I wouldn't be surprised seeing him, especially if we're not winning, if we're drawing or if we're losing. He might even come on in extra time if it looks like we're going to penalties, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Now, would you like to see us be more aggressive this? Because obviously, like I said, discussed earlier, it's a bit of a snatch and grab last week. Would you like to see us be a bit more aggressive and try and chase that goal difference up the table? Or would you like to just keep playing how we're playing and just worry about just getting the goal and keeping the clean sheet?
I think maybe be a bit more possessive than aggressive. I'd like to have more of the ball because the goals will come if we keep playing that sort of counter-attacking football. I've got no problem with the goals. Like I said, if we can grind out 1-0 wins for a little bit and get us right up there, no problem with it. But possession, I think, was something we sort of touched on for the City game that I think, I don't expect to be beating City in possession, but at least close to the 60-40, maybe 45-55 for us. I think we need to be pushing that half and half possession or countering a lot more.
I agree completely. I think that's the thing. I think we've got to focus on the defence and the results, because if we perform well enough, we will grind out these 1 or 2-0 results, and that's all we'll actually need. And then more confidence will come and we'll be able to start playing more free-flowing, attacking, confident football. But at the end of the day, in such a tight league like the A-League as well, if you keep a clean sheet, you've got 1 point on the board at the end of the day. You might pick up 2 more from going a bit more aggressive, but you might lose that 1. So if you keep that clean sheet, you're getting that 1 point at the end of the day regardless.
Yeah, that's right. You
need to focus on that first and then try and build on that.
Yeah. Get the 3 points, get the goal difference up, and just keep it ticking along.
Yeah.
And the rest
if we keep ticking 1-0s, win 10 1-0 games in a row, we'll have plus 10 goal difference anyway.
And I think you were just about to touch on that, Kelsey. Yeah, the results will... the goals will come. We've seen them come. We were a bit worried at the start of the season where they were going to come from, but, they've happened for us.
They're coming.
So maybe don't expect to have a free-flowing start like last season where we're scoring 3, 4, and 5 goals in a game. We don't have that flair like from Iker or Sanchez anymore, but I think we've got a much more grindy squad, and I think the talent to score is still there.
I think we've got a squad that can contend in bigger games.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, because we're tighter and more disciplined this season.
Honestly, if I could have kept one player, it would have been Iker Guarachana.
Oh yeah.
I think he's slotting into this squad just beautifully. Unfortunately, replacing Wales, but
or even Dia.
Yeah, but
on a certain day,
if I could, unfortunately, we haven't seen Rene Krhin. If I could, at this stage, get rid of Krhin and bring back Iker,
I would at this point. Unfortunately, sorry, Rennie, you might become more loved by us, but at this point, Iker's our man.
We don't have to eat humble pie, but we'll wait.
He's ripping it up back overseas. Scored a hat-trick in his first appearance. So.
I think he scored 2 or 3 this season. It's been nuts. He's been playing, I think he's playing in the 3rd div of Spain, but at the same time, you look at that and it's probably a similar quality to A-League.
And shout out to Iker actually posting on his Instagram that he was watching our game on the weekend, stayed up and watched our game.
He's done it every single week.
So it shows the love he still has for our young club. Love to see it. Shows you the culture behind the scenes as well.
Score predictions.
Oh, for the Brisbane game.
Yes.
2-0.
I'm going to go. Didn't you say we weren't going to keep a clean sheet?
You
Crap.
did. You said yes and no.
2-1.
2-0.
Didn't you question it?
Yeah, but I'm backflipped again. Yeah.
See,
3-0.
I'll have the no yes. I don't think Dylan Wenzel-Hall scores, but I think Jamie Young keeps the clean sheet.
All right.
I thought you were about to say I think Jamie Young scores. I wouldn't mind seeing a.
Hey, I'd be very, very happy.
If he scores, he'll need some sort of prize.
Who was it? The Stoke City goalie?
Asmir.
Begovic, yeah, a big floater.
A few of those has happened. Tim Howard, Paul Robinson. Yeah.
There's been a few.
I'd rather a last-minute header, though.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd rather a last-minute header.
Schmeichel, Allison action,
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Schmeichel wasn't ahead of it.
Volley might have even been better.
Let's take a minute to talk about our support. So support for All Out West is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AWAW21 at manscaped.com. How are you guys finding the trimmers, boys?
Loving it. I actually used it for my face the other week. I mean, I can't really grow much facial hair because I haven't hit puberty yet, but it definitely works upstairs and downstairs, I found out.
Pretty much all I need to say is this summer is going to be a lot less smelly than last summer.
I think we should go with a lot more comfortable than last summer.
Well, that too.
Well, with the deodorant.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm advertising the product. We're going to jump into their beautiful, beautiful ball toner as well that you'll put on after you have a nice shave, as well as the ball deodorant that comes with the package too, which will keep you super fresh, especially after a day in the active.
Oh, yeah. It gets sweaty in that active.
We know it.
And not to mention those the boxer shorts as well. They keep you cool while it's just sweating it up in the active as well.
Look, use it before, use it after. Just means you have to buy a little bit more and use our code a little bit more.
I've already actually ordered some more. So
I'm waiting for payday in 2 days.
So yeah, good product. Get around it. Chill out.
Definitely recommend. So once again, use promo code AWAW21 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. All right, let's move into the tipping competition. I'm not going to lie, I haven't still signed up yet. So can one of you guys log in for me?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I tried to log in and the app wasn't working the other day.
I'm not going to lie, I'll definitely be able to get it up for you fellas. All right, you got it anyway.
I only got 2.
Let me get the ranking going if you want to get...
All right, so the ranking at top, we've got Ethan, AWAW on 7.
On your Coombsy. Actually, no, yours hasn't updated. Yes.
Ooh, breaking.
Yeah. Sorry, I am looking at EPL.
Mine has. Then we got All Out Pest, I think it is. Number 3. Sorry, I'm going with a shortened table. I can't see the full names.
Here, I've got it. I can see it on mine. I'll continue. We got Scotty. Look at Scott in number 3. He's actually doing quite well. And there, this as well, Christopher Russell as well in 4th. They're all tied on 7 points. Down on 6 points, we have a total number, or not a total number, but 5th to 11th places are all on 6 points. With the Dogs, the Joker baby, this fella right here. We got Michael Woodster 99. We got the Corner Flag Games as well. A-Trax has made a big jump since his first week debacle. We got hashtag WHCS also on 6. Then further down on 5 and even lower, Brook Musket, Methodical Flame, Jeff for friend's sake, Irish Tony, Minimum Chips, Heinzie, myself, Jules, and Sherlock, and in dead last are ESPN Footy Tips. Don't think they've made their name. Might have to sort out a name, fella. Megan BD and the old Harris Mania, dead last.
Now, for the record, I want to point out this season that ESPN Footy Tips is not me this season because I literally haven't signed up yet.
Yeah, that's all right. You didn't get a mention. You were fine as well. So, look, better not signing up at all than being where Mitch is.
That's true.
Harris Mania is not running wild, brother.
You know what he won't be getting? A toilet seat trophy and a prize at the end of the year.
Yeah, which is still yet to be revealed,
And
everyone.
He's been on the podcast, so screw it. Let's not give it to him if he wins anyway.
No. He can have it. The guests, him, Shaq, others,
Special
Eddie.
guests.
Yeah, it's just us regulars.
Nick, you're still not getting the prize, buddy.
Well, look, he's that far back. Is it really going to happen?
I don't think so.
Nah.
I'm coming for
Look.
Honestly,
you can jump around.
I don't care about the special prize. I'm just coming for that toilet seat, baby. It's going to be mine.
That's true. And you know who can't win it? This guy, because he hasn't even bothered to sign up yet.
But we can't either.
Well, you can win the trophy. You just can't win the prize.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd rather the trophy than the prize anyway.
Same.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's head into the games this week and let's get some tips. So, we've got Melbourne City and Perth Glory.
Yep. So that's the midweek game, isn't it? Wednesday night, was it?
Yeah.
Yes, Wednesday at 7:45. You're correct.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to go Melbourne City to bounce back. Perth to drop off a little bit, but it'll be a close game. It'll be 2-1 to Melbourne City.
I've gone with a draw.
Okay.
Very interesting.
So then
on his old club. Screw those City dogs.
I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So then on Friday,
Can we quickly mention two things about that game? One, how good is Fornaroli's goal on the weekend? Absolute legend. We'll always love Bruno. Two, how many minutes will Daniel Sturridge get against Melbourne City? Because Tony Pinata has promised that he came down to Melbourne to feature at some point.
He was definitely at the game.
He was definitely at the victory game on the weekend. No minutes, not on the bench. But they have promised that he will be playing some minutes in Melbourne. How many do you think he will get?
Honestly, I don't think he's got a decent enough haircut yet. I've seen images of him wearing a do-rag, obviously covering up that top of the head. I don't think he's got a haircut that he's proud of or that he's willing to play in. I don't think we're going to see him for 6 months until he can grow it out and get it reshaped again.
Yeah. He'll never find a good barber like Jeff's barber in Liverpool.
Yeah, look, I don't see him playing this week. I reckon they're using him as a bit of a tease to try and lure more people to the game, but then just not actually, giving anyone the carrot.
Well, excuse my French, but I think that's just a bit of shithousery then.
It is. It's very Atletico Madrid of them.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Word for shithousery.
Yeah.
So then on Friday we have Newcastle and Wellington.
I've gone for the Jets. Another Valentino Yule brace.
Crazy.
On your Valentino.
So speaking of that, an A-League live stat that I got off that, Valentino Yule is averaging a goal every 57 minutes this season.
Is he Golden Boot leader?
I think so.
Yeah.
He's on 3.
Yeah, tied, I think. Oh, no, I think he's outright.
Bruno's only got 2. Dylan Wenzel-Halls has 2.
2, yeah. I think he's outright. Or if he's not outright, he would be tied with only 1 or 2 other players.
Why don't we have a look at the
A-League Live app, guys.
What did
Check
I
your
just say?
stats.
Valentino Yule, Bruno Fornaroli, Dylan Wenzel-Halls are our top 3.
There you go. See, A-League Live, bang, at your fingertips.
Yeah. Anytime you need them, check them out, guys.
Yeah, I think Pena's an absolute jet, and Yule's been playing well.
Yeah.
Newcastle for the win.
You said 2-0, didn't you?
2-0.
I'll do the reverse. I'll say Welly, 2-0.
Okay. So for some reason...
They've looked really well, especially up front. You thought they might have lacked a little bit after losing Devia and who else did they lose? Devia and Hamed. But bringing Gary Hooper back and David Ball, bringing Gary Hooper back has been great for them. And David Ball looks as good as he ever has. So Wellington 2-0 for me.
Okay. For some reason, my app has the exact same game listed twice at the exact same date and same time, and that's West United and Raw.
Yeah, it does do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't know why.
Well, guys, don't talk about the faults. We're promoting him.
No. I'm saying it's a chance for us to get 6 points, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, I wouldn't mind.
Positives here.
I wouldn't mind going to the game, watching a win, and then waking up the next morning or the next afternoon and watching a different game, which is also a win, but still outside. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
we've already done this one. So, 2-1 for me. It was 2-0 for you and 2-0 for you. 3-0 for you?
I was 2-0 because I said no to Dylan Windsor-Halls, but the Jamie Young clean sheet.
Yep.
So then we have Adelaide and Victory.
Adelaide United for their first win of the season. Josh Cavallo to score.
I'd love to see that. I don't think Joshy Cabs is going to score. I think it's going to be a 1-0 Adelaide win.
I think Adelaide win too.
2-1 Adelaide.
Yeah, I think that Adelaide lift for this game, especially at home.
And they've looked, even though they haven't picked up a win, they've looked really good this season, and they haven't lost.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have Western Sydney Wanderers and MacArthur.
That's a big one.
I'm going to go MacArthur back-to-back.
Yep, same.
Wanderers have looked shite this year, just put it nicely. If it wasn't for Brisbane being even worse on the pitch, they'd be bottom, I believe, actually.
I think no. They haven't lost yet, the Wanderers, but they picked up a couple of draws.
They beat Wellington last week.
They beat Wellington, and they drew
right,
against Sydney, and they drew against...
Yes, against Newcastle. Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing all right. I don't know what stats I've been
I think you're looking at Sydney FC.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of Sydney. But they have actually played some bad football at parts and have not been capitalised on. Like they shouldn't have got a point from that.
The Jets game. As I mentioned to you, that's the worst half of football for the season for many teams.
I think they're going to start slow and not be able to catch up this week against MacArthur.
Agree.
Yep. And then finally, we rounded off with Central Coast Mariners and Sydney.
I think this is the week Sydney get their first W 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah, I suspect they finally get their win as well.
Yeah.
And if they don't, that's a club in crisis.
If they don't, you can write them off for the title this season, I think already. They could still do finals, but I think you write them off for the title.
You write them off for top two, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, move on to around the grounds, and I already spoiled one of them with the Valentino Yule. So I just grabbed some quick A-League live stats here for this week. Yep. So obviously Valentino Yule, obviously Golden Boot leader at the moment, averaging goal every 57 minutes, and has not played a full 90 yet at all, which is also helping keep those minute rates down. And then MacArthur this season have not conceded a goal from open play like us. So, and they're also the only undefeated games. How do you reckon they're going to go this season?
They'll do well. They will do well. I don't know whether it's going to be a top 2 or a top 4, but there or thereabouts.
Definitive top 6, I'd say MacArthur, and I'd say 90% top 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if your top 4 stays pretty much as is at the moment.
Victory, City.
With the exception of
City swapping with West Sydney.
Swapping with West Sydney, yeah.
The three Victorian teams and MacArthur.
I see all 3 Victorian teams and MacArthur being in there.
In the finals, at least.
Yeah. I tend to agree.
I still think we'll finish lower than where we are, but I think a 4th, 5th, or 6th.
I'd take it.
Is definitely on the cards for us at the moment.
Yeah.
We've started a lot more positively than I hoped. So.
Yeah, I think we've really solidified ourselves. Like, we're very organised.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be key to just getting results and the points rather than playing pretty football this year.
Yeah. All right, and lastly, we move on to carded. Anyone got any cards this week?
Sorry, just quickly, back to around the grounds, and we probably should have mentioned this in club
news.
Josh Risden has extended his contract till the end of the 2023-24 season, stating that I believe that he felt like the club supported him through his injury, and the least he could do was give another 2 seasons at the club. Hopefully he stays injury-free again. I've got no problem supporting Josh Risden, Socceroo, Australian legend, Western United legend soon to be. if not already. But, one that we'll look back on and saying, he's a real prominent figure in the founding of the club.
And a lovely guy.
Lovely guy.
Yeah. We were on exactly the same wavelength, though. Yeah. We're like, hang on.
I actually had it to mention.
Because we can't card his contract extension.
No, look, I have left a banner up for carded, but we do need to talk. We're not carding him. Let's be clear on that. This is a positive. No.
Yes.
And spoiler too, we're actually trying to organise to get him on the pod.
We are. We're trying to work at it. We're working out time and date. So we'll have a quick chat with him, hopefully in the next few weeks, about his contract extension, about his Socceroos journey over the years as well, and about what it's like to play for Western United.
And also be a leader at Western United.
That too. New one for him.
Yes.
So very important contract extension, not just for Josh, but I feel the club as well, because that's really the sort of players you need to be hanging on to. Because as much as, players come and go in the A-League, there's a few constants we need. Connor Payne, I think, is one of them. Josh Risdon, definitely one of them.
If we were to lose either of those two, I feel like it would have a profound effect on the morale. Also, even though he doesn't play as much, Ryan Scott.
Yeah. It shows we're heading in the right direction, though, to get a player the caliber of Josh Risdon re-signing.
Yeah.
So now we will move on to carded. Any cards this week?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it before as well. You'll give the red card to the Melbourne City fans. You don't leave on your team early, first of all, but you don't leave when you're only 1-0 down and you're actually on top of play. Yeah. We mentioned the Victory fans. They didn't do that. Not to toot our own horn, but every time I've been in the service crew and we've been losing, even if it's been 2 or 3-0, we haven't done that. Stick around, support your team.
Yeah, we didn't walk out when we were losing 1-0 to Victory in round 1.
No.
Never.
And nor should we.
And we didn't stop singing either.
No.
Sure.
No.
City stopped singing after 20 minutes. So and that will make people look at the A-League and say, look at these fans, they're hopeless.
You're supposed to be champions, act like champions.
Yeah.
At
piss poor effort by their fans.
As much as, we don't get along with Victory, good to see their fans back and forth and supporting the club.
Yeah.
They had a really rough year last year. First ever wooden spoon for the club.
And we'll give them the kudos for that. We'll tell them that we're proud, as on a league perspective, we're proud for them to do that. It helps the league as well. City fans, the so-called champions of the league, their fans should not be leaving at 85 minutes 1-0 down. They shouldn't be leaving at 85 minutes 5-0 down. They shouldn't be leaving at 85 minutes 1-0 down. That's a piss poor effort for me.
You pay for your ticket to go to the movies. All of a sudden, the bad guy starts winning 3/4 of the way through the movie. Well, we're not going to win this and take off. You'd never make it through a Marvel movie. So, you paid for at least support your club. If you're a bit
worst case, there on your phone for the rest of the game. Literally, worst case, sit there, be there for the players.
Just support the sport, support your club.
Yeah, support the league.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, that about
that as well. Yeah.
So that about.
Sorry, did you have any cards though, Kelsey?
No, I thought the City one sort of summed up the week. I thought that was just really piss poor from them.
Yep.
I think around the league, we're improving the stand in terms of support, supporters supporting their clubs. It's just when you see that stuff, it's just pathetic. I also heard they started some of the scuffles potentially pre-game.
Yeah.
So
we won't get stuck into it, but was just the whole atmosphere of that sort of crowd.
That's what I'm alluding to. It's the whole atmosphere of what they brought on that day.
Yeah.
They need to be better as fans.
You got to be there to support your club more than put the other club down, I think.
Yep.
And there's a few fans in their club that aren't big on that. And, they're not real football fans. They don't care. They pretend they do.
They're people who have watched Green Street Hooligans once when they were 12.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about the sport. And, as much as I like having people of all backgrounds come to our sport, we don't need thugs there. We don't need people there purely to try and get a rise out of any other team's supporters.
And especially a negative rise.
Yeah, so you're absolute scum.
Yep.
I want it to be inclusive and full of fun banter.
Yeah.
Banter's good. Everyone always says, and we do that with plenty of clubs.
Hey, mate.
Banter is fantastic. For that 90 minutes, we're going to be yelling back and forth. But we laugh while we do it. We have fun. Unfortunately, and it's not. I know it's not every single Melbourne City fan out there, but there are a lot of Melbourne City fans that, you can't have that. You can't have that civil, friendly sport banter with because it will advance.
Go ahead, abuse us. We don't care. It's just like keep it. Let your team do the talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't represent your team badly because that's all it will come back at the end of the day.
It's a reflection on Melbourne City more than anything. And it's not a reflection they deserve. It's just one that gets imposed on them because of what's happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and and I'll reiterate, it's not all of the fans. It's a certain amount of them.
And look, I'm not a fan of the Melbourne City Club. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of purely their owners and them trying to pretty much buy good karma by owning sporting clubs. But I can't hold anything against Patrick Kisnorbo and the Melbourne City players. Ultimately, they're getting paid. They're out there to do it. They're out there to play for each other. And the fans that really care.
And they've got some really classy players on and off the field as well.
Yeah,
so
Patrick Kisnorbo,
no blame on them.
Can't speak highly enough of him. Great coach, great bloke. It's just disappointing to see people, use the sport as an excuse to get up to just stupid behaviour.
Shenanigans.
Completely agree. I think we'll leave that there.
Yep, so, I think that's the perfect way.
So that actually wraps us up for this week. Somehow we survived without Wallace. So I'd like to give him a big shout out again to him and Amelia on the arrival of their new baby girl.
I think he'll be proud of us.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy he won't have to spend his entire day, editing this. So hope we did you proud. First episode you've missed. Congratulations again. Don't forget to check us out on social media for our up-to-date Western United content. Share, like, subscribe, and review. Don't forget to check out the A-League Live app, as you saw throughout this episode. It really helped us out again. So again, you can get it the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And don't forget, you can get 20% off and free shipping worldwide using the code AWAW21 at manscaped.com. And I think we finished with All West, aren't we?
All West, aren't we?
All West, aren't we?